And welcome in to the Backstage Pass here, of course. Another day, another great interview planned here. We're presented by our good friends over at Bangtail Whiskey. If you haven't checked them out, check out bangtail.com and, of course, download the Easy Liquor app. And you can get the bottle sent directly to your door. It's good stuff. And they're on, I think, back order right now, waiting for some more bottles to come in. So make sure you do that, too, at the same time. But Brandon Morrell back here, Nick Canizales in the saddle here, again, powered by the sportsguyspodcast.com. And pleased, as we just got this word today, huge news coming up on Thursday morning. Charlene Tilton, formerly of the TV show Dallas. She played Lucy on the TV show Dallas back in the 80s and 90s. She's going to be joining us on Thursday morning with one of our co-hosts and our team members, Jeff McMahon, to talk about a great event. It's going to come up October the 5th. It's the Love for Music City announcing a huge event coming up next week there. It's a silent auction, live entertainment, and more. And, of course, the proceeds from the event are going to benefit Middle Tennessee foster children and orphans abroad. It's the 5th annual Love for Music City Gala, and we're going to be out there covering it as a media outlet from the Backstage Pass next Tuesday there in Nashville with Kirsty Krause and Jeff McMahon. Huge event, so be on the lookout for some interviews there coming up there next Tuesday, October the 5th. So pleased to be a part of that event and to have Charlene Tilton on with us coming up this Thursday morning. Nick, good to have you back, and pleased to welcome in.
Hey, buddy.
I've got
good to see you.
Good to see you, brother. And I got a huge respect for this guy and our guest today. And he's saving the planet one beer at a time. Buck Ford joining us here on the show. Buck, what's up, man?
What's going on, guys? Good to see you. How you been?
Oh, man.
Good seeing you.
Hanging in there, brother, and staying busy, I guess, is the time of year we're into. Just wish the weather was nicer. I was talking to Nick before the show. We just all this rain here in Texas. We need to get a better forecast. I'm ready for fall weather to come in.
We don't know what that's like over here in California, man.
Just ready for like we had last weekend. I guess you could say sunshine, highs in the 80s, and just a little bit of humidity, but it wasn't that bad outside too. Hey, take me back to the beginning, and I guess kind of when you knew that this bug was gonna bite, this love for music, and I guess that from a young age, a lot of artists tell us this on the show that we kind of knew where we were, what we were doing, and if it was family influenced or if it was just from seeing somebody play on stage and they influenced us. When did this bug bite, and kind of when did you know country music was going to go from a hobby to a career?
Well, that's just something that just fell into place. It was never a plan for me. Obviously, I spent 16 years on a motorcycle chasing that dream, and I always loved country music. That's about the only thing that I know. My mom and dad were just heavy country music fans, Haggard and Jones and Strait, and those are the only things that we played on around the house. And so that was something that the only thing I really knew, even though I rode motocross and did that my whole life. It wasn't punk rock and that kind of stuff in my trailer. It was George Strait and Chestnut and Joe Diffie growing up playing. I was kind of an outsider in that sport for being that different. But that's just stuff that I love to do. And right around 17, 18, I learned to kind of play guitar and, kind of experimenting what the heck am I going to do with my life. And at that time I was racing professional motocross and, still, trained my whole life doing that. And I owe a lot to that sport, love the sport. But by the time I was 20, I realized that, this wasn't really what I'm, getting older when I get, it's not really a forever long, career. It can be over anytime. And not to say that's not a great sport. I love the sport. I got family still in it, kicking butt in it, doing really well, and support them and they're for them to do that. But music is just something that I fell into. I wasn't planning on being successful in it. Just something that, hey, what's the next thing? I'm going to go to work and, I play guitar too and sing. That's for fun. And then put down the racing career. And I put together a band within a month later and I've been doing it ever since. And it's been about 14, 15 years doing it. But never really even thought I would be doing it for a living and making records and doing that kind of stuff. It just kind of fell into place. And yeah, being a country artist is the only thing I could have possibly have been. It's the only thing I know. Mm-hmm. And it just comes out of me. You listen to my music, you can tell I'm pretty stubborn and pretty old school and pretty set on my ways of the style that I want to present. And it's just something that fell into place. It's not. It just happened. It wasn't something I've been doing a whole lot since I was a baby, but there was only one kind of music that I liked and only one genre that I could have fell into. And it just worked out that way that just been working and have some great band members over the years and just helped me get rolling and just ever since then. Didn't look back since then. So I'm still rolling. I got kids and a wife now, and music still goes on and life goes on. And here I am making records and trying to pay the bills. So it's been one cool journey, and one of those things that wasn't planned, but fell in love with it, and don't really think I'm, going anywhere anytime soon. So I'm loving it.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Hey, when you broke into the business, was there anybody that kind of gave you any type of advice of what to expect in the music industry and what you need to do and how to get your foot in the door and get yourself kick-started?
Shoot, I was blessed to have a lot of help, a lot of friends that had bands and been to Nashville and chased dreams and had all kinds of things that they threw at me as like, this is going to happen. This is what you're going to see. And there's so many things outside of that I learned just on my own, because you don't really know unless you go and do it. You got all those people telling you, and a lot of it is really relative, and a lot of that stuff all happened. And as far as the struggles you have being a musician and being broke and trying to pay the bills and trying to, have a day job and make it all work and get the band together on the weekend and go out and play. Yeah, I've had a lot of good friends that, I borrowed their bands for a couple months to go on tour when I didn't have a band, and just a lot of good folk. Yeah, I had a lot of good help and a lot of great mentors that I looked up to that just really, all right, yeah, we'd love to help you out. I mean, we like you and you're good friends, and it's, yeah, I owe a lot to a lot of great people and California that really helped me out get going. And I lived in Nashville many years ago for a few years and spent a lot of time there and learned a lot of stuff from the School of Hard Knocks just from being there and stuff I didn't know already and what could possibly happen and how to get to the next level and just grinding. And I'm still grinding today. Even I'm back in California now, and I go back and forth between Nashville and all over the States touring, and I go to Nashville for all my business stuff and music, and I kind of learned my own kind of system. It's kind of on, there's no pattern to it, but it's worked for me over the years. And, I'm West Coast guy, but I go out to Nashville and do what needs to be done. And I tour out of the West Coast, and it takes me ever all over the States and internationally as well. So I've had a lot of great help and learned a lot of stuff on the way from just hard knocks and things that went wrong and things that worked. And it just from doing it, so.
Practice makes perfect, just like we always say with sports on here and music. That's why they're so interrelated. Hey, take me back to 2016, Where I Want to Be, the first album. I thought there were some great songs that came off of there. It really kind of set the tone for the career. That first album, people always say, this is kind of, getting me started. And of course, I'm going to keep putting out, fresh content everywhere, perfecting that sound, choosing songs for the records. Take me back on some highlights of that. Were you pleased with the record, the people you got a chance to work with on, and all that? I mean, there's 3, 4, 5, 6 great songs. The whole thing's fantastic. Just Wild as Can Be, Out Balin' Hay, and Cowgirl. Really songs that stood out to me. What were some of the highlights for you and that whole record, in a sense? Were you pleased with it?
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Yeah, that was a fun record. I wrote with a lot of good friends of mine in that one. Where I Want to Be I wrote with a good buddy of mine out of Kentucky named Andy Joe Moore. We were sitting in a duck blind in Kentucky at his property, and we wrote that song, and we titled it because it's an everyday, hunting season kind of song for us, and it really hit home for us. But just to be able to work with some of the good guys like Carson Chamberlain, great songwriter, producer, been around forever, helped me out with a lot of songs on there, co-writing and stuff, and he's helped me on my new record as well. That's coming out, and it's funny to say my first record, 2016, but that's actually my 4th record. I've had 4 records prior to that, and that was one that. I really was the one that kind of set the next level for me. I think it's one of my better records. Definitely the best record so far then, and second to this new one coming out, I guess. But, it was great. Cowgirl is probably my favorite song on the record. It's just a song that, lived it, been through that, and just hit home for me. And Out Balin' Hay, it was the perfect timing for it with, politically and with life's going and all that stuff. It just is. I had to cut that song, and Wild as Can Be was just a straight, cut off my life from a kid to growing up as an adult, from motocross into playing music and raising a family and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, those are actually some really my top songs off that record. Thanks for mentioning those. But but yeah, I got to work with some great writers, and I record all my records right now with a guy named Greg Cole, and he's produced and worked with Daryl Singletary and a handful of guys that I looked up to, and I just really want to be a part of that. When I met him in Nashville as a drummer, he plays, been around for a long time, and he's a guy that some of my band members introduced me to, and it's, I'm lucky to work with him, and I'm glad to continue to make records with him because he's, involved in that realm of that time of the music I like to make. And guys like Daryl Singletary, and he introduced me to him, and and became friends with him, and it's just rest in peace. But those are kind of guys that I look up to, and so I'm very lucky to work with great guys like that in Nashville that are in that world, and we're there and got to be with those kind of artists and know how to produce that kind of music, and that's what I'm all about. And Wild as Can Be was one of those songs on there that was just right off my life. And Where I Want to Be was one that Greg helped me produce to really get that fitting to everyday outdoor kind of country boy vibe to it. And I thought I'd name my record after that one, and it's been great for me, and it's been fun. That's my best one so far until the new one.
That is nice. I saw that you have a good amount of shows to close out the year. How fun has that been? After a long while that we didn't have concerts and a lot of things. A lot of artists were taking to Facebook Live and Instagram, TikTok, and everything else, social media to kind of get our music flavor back. You doing shows? I mean, how fun is that? Getting back in the swing of things, seeing people in front of an audience, and all that good stuff.
It's been great, man. It's been so much fun. That whole break we had, and we had to do what we had to do, but it rekindled us as a group, as a touring band, to go out and play, and we were just so hyped to get back out on the road. We've been all over the states since right around May, June. We just started traveling so heavy, and it's been so much fun. It just it rejuvenated us to get back out, and we're just full of energy now, and everyone wants to party. I'll tell you, everywhere we go, every show we go to and play, people are ready to go and do it. So it's been really cool, and we're just so glad to be back on the road and doing that. And yeah, it's super lucky and fortunate to have a really busy schedule to end out the year and get on with 2022 with some new releases and stuff like that. It's been awesome. And I'll tell you that the break it was really hard on us, but we came back just stronger than ever, and with a new record and new singles, and we're just, it's been awesome. Everyone's been great at the shows, and it's just been a whole nother level as far as playing and all that kind of stuff.
Well, speaking of playing, you're going to play one for us here, play a couple today on the show. Yeah. Get that guitar right there behind you. Love the sound. And, of course, one of my favorite albums was the 2014 album you did, Something About Those Cowgirls and Cold Beer, and definitely the title track were fun off that particular record. So, brother, let's have you play one for us now, and
cool.
We'll get the audience definitely engaged with it, and definitely just hear those great new traditional sounds that you have come out, brother, and just love everything. Of course, you can check out buckford.com, and, of course, check him out on socials out there, too, for all the latest in music. And as Nick mentioned, the touring and the shows coming back. Buck, it's all yours, man.
All right. Here's one new single that's out, guys, Saving the Planet. Some politicians on TV on his finger at you and me, talking global warming, but he ain't that smart. But he don't knows I'm doing my part. I can recycle, I can go green. I'm a one-man beer can crushing machine. Got shiny aluminum stacked a mile high. I'm saving the planet one beer at a time. All this talk about the world's gonna end, I guess we better all start chipping in. I got Bud Light, Coors Light, PBR. I got them all on ice in the back of my car. I can recycle, I can go green. I'm a one-man beer can crushing machine. Got shiny aluminum stacked a mile high. I'm saving the planet one beer at a time. Say the oceans are rising and the polar caps are melting. All this information's a little overwhelming. I can recycle, I can go green. I'm a one-man beer can crushing machine. Got shiny aluminum stacked a mile high. I'm saving the planet one beer at a time. Yeah, I'm saving the planet one beer at a time. Crank up!
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-hosts Kirsty Krause, Jeff McMahon, and Karen Lee Batten as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
All right, back here with Buck Ford on the Backstage Pass, presented by our good friends over at Bangtail Whiskey. And always great to have Nick Canizales by my side, no doubt, and definitely some cool things coming up. Thursday morning with Jeff McMahon here on the broadcast. Charlene Tilton, the great actress from Dallas, is going to be joining us here, talk about a big event coming up next week in Nashville that we get to be a part of October 5th. It's going to be a lot of fun out there, too. Some more announcements coming up on that. Buck, I love the song, man. That's one reason we had to have you, because it's just that down-home good country feel, neo-traditional type of country song that I know Nick and I grew up with there, 90s country. You mentioned you're big on a lot of those guys with Merle, Waylon, and Mark Chestnut. So how did this one come about? I guess what was the idea behind it? And I'm sure there's a lot of good stories to tell with this one, right?
Well, it was just one of those songs that when we were sitting around trying to put it together, it's we had to. It's real simple, the beer thing, and we had like we got to throw something political in it. And it's funny, the first verse, like if you haven't heard the song and you listen to it, like, oh man, this guy's gonna bash some political views. We got to keep listening. And it turns out it's not. It's just real simple. And that's what I like about it. The main thing. It's just I wrote it with Wyatt Coven and Carson Chamberlain, and just these are guys that are just. Basically I'm in the room and they're writing the song. I'm just there, and that's those guys are some of the best. And that's just, we had to tie something into it, political and realistically, it's nothing to do about that. It's just simple. We're recycling a good time and we're keeping that thing going and trying to be green and try to fit in with the new times, even though we're country boys at heart. But it was fun. I had to cut it, and it was just fitting for the times, and I love it. I for the first single of mine, that was the song I had to put out first. It's my favorite one on the record, and had to throw that one out there. So,
hey Buck, when you guys are trying to create a song here, you guys, you mentioned you have some good writers. What is the feel in the room when you start coming up with a song? Is it the lyrics wise, does that come from your personal experiences? Do you guys have say, hey, look, let's maybe test some of this stuff out? Do you have a hook book that you might have had some stuff from way back and say, hey, look, man, I wrote some of this stuff down maybe a couple months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. How about we add this in there? How does that all come about when you guys meet?
When we all meet, there's no rules to it. I mean, there's no rules to writing a song. I've written songs with a hook line. I've written songs, a whole song, finished it without even a hook yet, and then that was the last thing we put together to it. This one was just super simple. We were sitting in a room, and Carson had the idea, and we all rolled with it. And of course, Wyatt McCubbin's there and just kicking butt and have his input. But it just started. We were just playing the song. We got the chorus first. That's usually how a song is. We got the chorus line and we're rolling with it. We want to go something. Let's see how we can do something about staying green. It's trying to fit in with the new times. And then it's like, it's all like, start with something. We got to do something with recycling, but at the same time, it's like, how do we tie that into having a good time and enjoying ourselves? And I think Carson was when they came up with that chorus line. I can recycle, I can turn green. We started with that, and that was like the first line that was written to it, and we just rolled from there. We all kind of went. We actually all went home and did our own thing, and came back with our own input and threw it together. And the music part of it, that all came after. But it was just something that really came off of us real together. We all went home and did our own homework, and then we all just threw it all together over a Skype one day, and we all threw it together. And Carson wrote it all down, and then we all did a little demo, and I was like, I want to cut that for sure. And that's how that one came about. And then we tied the political thing into it last, because it was like, we got to throw something in there to grab someone's attention now.
Yeah.
That's because with all that's going on and how it all, panning out right now, what's going to get, we got to listen to this song, so we had to throw it in the first verse. And, I think that helped the song out a lot. And then, going in the second verse is pretty standard, talking about the earth and how to, we're going to, serve it. And then the rest is history from there. The bridge was just simply written, all that, but it was fun. It was fun, a simple song, and those are my favorite songs. Usually they're the best ones, are the ones that just come out simple and easy and stuff like that. But I think that the cool part of that one is the political portion of it that really brings people into the song. Like, we got to hear the rest of this, because whose side is he gonna bash? You know what I mean? But it's nothing to do with that at all. But and I think that helped us a lot to do well. So.
It's the catchy ones that get out there. And sometimes people always say, or Buck on the show with us, that they didn't take a lot of time to write the song. The song kind of wrote itself, and it came together in a matter of minutes. And usually sometimes those are the best ones out there. And hey, speaking of Wyatt McCubbin, a good buddy out there, man, that is a true singer-songwriter. He's been on this show, and what a true talent. My God, he's wrote a lot of stuff with people don't know. We worked with Josh Ward, Texas Country, and a lot of great songwriters and singers in the industry. Hey, take me back to this one, 2014, something about those Cowgirls, that title track. And the one I'm curious of is Cold Beer, because I thought that was very catchy. You said one of those songs, you'd be in a bar or two-stepping out there, just an old jukebox song, kind of reminded me of Cold Beer and growing up with that 90s country feel. Kind of highlight this album for me and those two songs.
Yeah, man, those are actually some of the top ones off that song. Something About Those Cowgirls is one I wrote solo, and that was a simple write. I wrote the chorus for it one night. Didn't even think I was really going to cut it, and just on a rainy. I wrote this in Nashville when I lived there, and I'm just sitting it was pouring down rain. I was sitting in my little music room, and like, this song might be something. I kind of rearranged some things in the chorus, and I was dating a young lady there at the time, and we had just broken up. And that last verse, that bridge portion, like I wrote the song prior to that, verse, chorus, and then I didn't have a bridge. And then that we had broken up like halfway through the song. And then I wrote that bridge part to it. That really, and I needed that. I needed that part to like break up that song and give it something else. So that was a fun one for me. It was just standard me back in my day, and a true life thing that, kind of happened and tied into that song to make that bridge. So that one was just a fun one I wrote just by myself. And Cold Beer was actually written by a couple buddies, Phil O'Donnell. I forget who else was on it. I think Trey Kirk Phillips or something like that. But it was one of those songs that was like, all right, no one else at this time is cutting that kind of stuff. And it's like, that's stuff that I cut when I go out and songs are being pitched to me. Those songs have been around and they've been pitched to everybody, but no one seems to take them. But that's kind of stuff that I like to cut. It's still, it's got the honky tonk that that feel to it that I can put my spin on it and cut it and make it my kind of flavor. And that was one of those ones I could run with and put my own spin on it. But then it's edgy enough to be played anywhere and have fun out in the boat and partying too. And it's one of those songs that I had to throw on to kind of throw it all together. And it's just edgy enough, like a lot of stuff I wrote is a lot of real traditional and kind of, I search for those guys that really know how to put together a new flavor and I can work with and spin it. And Cold Beer was one of those ones that I had to cut. So.
Well, Buck, if you weren't in music, is there another occupation that, you may have thought of growing up or anything like that, or thinking, man, you know what? I could maybe, if music, didn't work out, or maybe if it didn't work out later on, maybe I could do this, or maybe I should try this. Or have you ever had, thought about, or what you might want to do if you weren't in music?
That's hard to say. Being in the music business,
I know it's all hypothetical.
you go through a lot of struggles. So yeah, I mean, you're constantly thinking like, what the heck? What could I be doing instead of this stuff? Why did I get into this darn business? You always have those moments where I
think a lot of us in every job that we have sometimes.
Often, yeah, right. And no, I probably work in construction, and I do dabble in construction still with the family business.
Yeah.
So I like to think, I would be doing that and working construction, and I do have worked in the trades for a lot of years. Obviously, I had to have a job. I'm a musician to kind of support it, but and I did that for a long time, and I still do my share of construction and working in the business with the family and doing that. So, I'm a working man, construction guy before I am a musician, to be honest with you. But I'm just very lucky to, be staying busy and working in the music, and because I don't really want to do that every day the rest of my life. It's go out and bust my butt and be in construction, even though that's a blessing to be out and go out and do that and have a job and work. And we need those folks and to keep the world rolling. And we don't want to see that change. And construction is such a huge backbone of this world, and we need to keep that rolling. And I got my tool belt on me, and I'm never going to sell it. So I'm always going to be. You never know what's going to happen. Hell, we had COVID last year, and you bet your butt I was out working and doing my thing, and so my tool belt is still with me, and it could happen anytime. So I'm a construction worker, and that's what I'd be doing. So
very nice.
We need more of those out there, no doubt, brother. And like I said, always good to have the versatility and be able to do more than one thing out there too at the same time. Even though the first love is music, I had Jeff Carson on the show yesterday, Buck, and he had talked about many years of the hits of the 90s and all the great stuff. And I know I came to part of that show. It was like the first love is music. Second love was law enforcement. He's now being a policeman for the last 12, 13 years. Great guy. Great show with him, too, as well. That's why many musicians do have that second career, to depend on, too, as well, because the first love is always music, and you never know which way it's going to go. Hey, I know you got one more for us, and we'll come back. I want to talk about Country Never Goes Out of Style. What a great album that was. Like I said, I'm on to a lot of things you put out over the last few years. I Miss My Truck. And, of course, one of my favorite songs, Nick and I have said this many times on the show, I'd Rather Be Fishing. That's just a great country song. I don't want to work and be fishing, put a line in the water. And
all day, every day.
All day, every day, which is good out there. So I know you got one more for us. So what's up next?
Yeah, this is actually a new single that no one's heard yet. This one pre-sale is this weekend. It's going to be releasing the 15th of October. So Heart's Gonna Break. Me and Carson Chamberlain wrote the song, and this is probably one of the favorite ones I've ever written. It goes like this. He's a cowboy. She's a city girl and never rode up in a truck. But she's just another one. He's convinced this thing could be love. He'll give it a week or two. Then he'll be easing out early, carrying his cowboy boots. There's a heart that's gonna break. That pain's gonna be hard to take. Yeah, he never loved her anyway. He's just a player of the game. He's got a heart that's gonna break. That same old cowboy with a different city girl likes riding up in his truck. But he's just another one. She's convinced this thing could be love. She'll give it a month or two. She'll be sneaking out early, carrying her high heel shoes. There's a heart that's gonna break. That pain's gonna be hard to take. Yeah, she never loved him anyway. She's just a player of the game. And she's got a heart that's gonna break. He never dreamed that no city girl would ever throw him so damn hard. Yeah, the heart that's gonna break. That pain's gonna be hard to take. Hey, he never loved her anyway. This time he's the one that's been played. He's got a heart that's gonna break. Yeah, there's a heart that's gonna break. Coming out in about a week or so, folks.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by thesportsguyspodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-hosts Kirsty Krause, Jeff McMahon, and Karen Lee Batten as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by thesportsguyspodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And we're doing it here with Buck Ford, a fantastic song there too, and definitely always want to mention this. Excited to be a part of the event coming up next Tuesday, October 5th. It's the Love for Music City big event coming up there, which is going to honor Crystal Gale, recipient of this year's Bill Anderson Icon Award. Recognizes Gale's contributions made to the community and for her role as a pathbreaker and legendary performer. And just going to be a great event. Just Marty Rayburn, T. Graham Brown, J.D. Shelburne, Buddy Jewell, Tim Atwood, Pam Tillis, and a whole lot more are going to be there. We're going to be there as part of the Backstage Pass at the Music City Gala. Working the red carpet out there. Hey, we're putting Kirsty and Jeff to work, Nick, so that's a good thing, right?
No, hey, two of the best in the business right there. Two of the best.
Two of the best in the business. And let's see Crystal definitely get the award she deserves. And, of course, Charlene Tilton, formerly of Lucy on the big program Dallas back in the day, is going to join us Thursday morning to talk more about the event coming up next Tuesday, October the 5th. Buck, I love the song, man. I think it's fantastic. It describes who you are. And like I said, everything you put out, it just seems to get better and better and better. Your best piece of work, as you say, sometimes is better than what you did before, even though everything is just solid on point. How did this one come about? And I know you guys are excited to launch this October 15th, right?
Yes, sir. Yep. This one was just one that I had the verse, He's a Cowboy part, written for like 6 months, and I wasn't really doing anything with it. And I was like, man, what can I do? Couldn't think of a hook line. And I put together one night, and it's another just a story, from back in the day. And it's definitely a slice from my life growing up touring as a younger guy before I was married and running around and doing my thing, having fun. And definitely one of those songs that I like to write those songs. Those are old. A lot of people can relate to those. And, meeting a lady in a bar. I mean, there's a lot of folks. I tend to write that a lot. It seems to be kind of my niche. And this is just another one. I had that written up and I needed a bridge for it. And I sent it over to my buddy Carson in Nashville. He's always been one to help me. And he's like, yep, sent it back in like a couple hours. And I was like, man, I think I like this song. And cut a demo on it and worked out some different kinks in it with me and Carson, and turned out to be one of my favorite songs on the record and my favorite song that I've written so far. And great to be a part, have Carson on it, because he's definitely one of my favorite writers that I've ever worked with, and written some of my favorite songs that from the big artists that you've all heard before, I'm sure, and that a lot of you don't know about. But big time guy, and glad to have him on it with me and as a co-writer, and I love that song. It's just another slice from early days touring and running around and living life. So I like that song a lot. Really relate to it. I think a lot of folks can. So.
Well, Buck, we are approaching October. I mean, literally, it's like around the block. A couple of days remaining. 3 months left to go in the year. I mean, what are some of the big goals that you might have that you want to close out 2021? And then what are something that you're hoping to look forward to in 2022?
Well, I got a lot to be blessed for. A ton of shows to close out the year. I got some hometown stuff I'm doing in Vacaville, California, coming up that I'm going to be releasing some tour dates there and some Christmas parties and things like that. We're doing some Christmas shows and just looking forward to getting at least 2 more singles out end of the year. I'm trying to get the record out. Depending on how things are rolling and how things are looking, I might decide to drop the record before 2022, maybe like a Christmas time record. But I'm dropping 2 singles, this one coming up and another one, and then we're going to see really what to do with the record and how to throw it out there. But just in the meantime, I got so many shows. I'm keeping the band. We're slammed, we're touring, we're running around doing that, and it's our favorite time of the year. Getting into the fall, a lot of great October shows, Halloween into November, and a lot of people are home for the holidays and getting out and running around and partying and coming out to see a show and all that kind of stuff. So we're really looking into springtime next year, really hitting the States and touring a lot and really promoting kind of some new singles I'm working out now. And I'm trying to get another record out by summer. So, I've been working hard and just hitting it hard, just a lot. Got a couple kids now. I'm married, and I just want to just do all I can and get as many songs out and tour and run around. And I'm having as much fun now as I've ever had. And my band's kicking butt right now. We're playing our butts off, and I got a lot to be thankful for, and going to be home in California around the holidays. So I get to spend a lot of time with the family, and very blessed to have a ton of shows in and out the year, and already looking to be a really good 2022 as well. So we're very fortunate and great to be just back on the road and doing our thing. So we didn't know when it was going to happen and when everyone's going to be back to living and getting on with their lives. And we're really glad to be back rolling. So we got a lot to be thankful for.
If you ever make it back to Texas or through Texas, we're going to get out there as a team members of the show. We got to go to a Buck Ford concert, Nick. We got to be out there.
Yes, no doubt about that.
The Texas,
we will be rock and rolling.
Texas style of music, no doubt. And, of course, just that down-home country. And I'll always say it, people that know me know I grew up on that. And we've talked to many of the legends on the show as to why they took that path, and that music sound will go on forever, even when we're dead and gone out there one day. That's just a sound that you never can look back on and say it's not. No, it's still there today, is that neo-traditional country music, and we love it here on the Backstage Pass. All right, Buck, we're going to have a little fun with you before we let you run. A couple little rapid-fire things to get to know you more on a personal basis, and it's always a little fun game we play. What shows have been on the tube lately? What have you been binge-watching?
Well, I hate to admit it, but I've been watching Big Brother with my wife. Mm-hmm. I hate saying it. I would just, babe, turn it off. I'm not watching this, but I still am not quite there yet. But that's pretty much what I'm watching because my wife wants to watch it, and that's about what I'm watching. That, and I'm watching Meat Eater right now on Netflix. That's a cool show.
I've heard about that.
That one's cool. Man, what's the big one I just watched? Of course, Outer Banks is kind of cool. Waiting for the new Peaky Blinders, though. Can't wait for the new Peaky Blinders on Netflix. I'm been waiting for like 2 years because it was supposed to happen last year. Not happening, but I'm really waiting for the Peaky Blinders to come out. But just I'm watching a lot of old stuff, and of course I watched The Ranch twice. It's a great show, and
no doubt.
So
Good
they
stuff.
kicked that on. So
Good stuff.
But yep.
Hey, favorite food. What's your favorite food? Your go-to food to eat?
Man, I'll tell you what, we were up in Montana last week and we had the best Montana beef. We had tomahawks and ribeyes.
Oh, wow.
At our show. And I thought nothing could beat this ever. And then we went to play another resort, up in Phillipsburg, Montana. We had they cooked 3 medallion, for our main course. And it was the best thing I've ever had. So I'm on a super heavy filet and ribeye, kick right now. And then I was up in Reno last weekend. I had prime rib. I had some Wagyu and another filet 3 days in a row while I was up there. I'm on that kick right now, so definitely I'm gonna go with the filet is my go-to right now.
That's a good thing.
God, it sounds so good right now.
And I've had it in Montana, so I can tell you I can concur with what Buck is saying. I've had some bison up there and some good. That's some meat country. Is some good stuff up in Montana when I went there a few years ago, and a great country music fans in that part of the world too.
Yeah.
All right, let's go with this one here. Bucket list vacation. I guess when all this officially comes to an end, you're like, man, I'm going to go here. Many people have said some overseas stuff. Where are you going if you can get there?
You know what? I want to go to. I got a buddy in the Navy, and we were going to go to Ireland because you were stationed there last year, and I couldn't make it because we were went to France on tour a couple years ago, and we were going to go to Ireland the next year, but it got canceled. But we were going to go there just because with a couple of my buddies to go see our buddy in the Navy because he had some time off. We were going to go down there for Oktoberfest. And I really want to go to Ireland, man. I want to hit Oktoberfest in Ireland with a couple of buddies if the wife can let me out for a week. That'd be kind of cool. But that would be really fun for me.
That would be pretty neat.
And just have a good time with my buddies. So
that would be neat. That would be neat.
Like that.
So Robin and Grant, we're going to tell you thank you. Appreciate you going to our comment section. Let's see. Let me think here. And I had one at the top of my head. Who would you want to collaborate with? If you could collaborate with anybody, living or deceased, who would be that person or that band?
Yeah, that's real tough. I've been lucky to play with a ton. A lot of great dudes. Obviously, I haven't met George Strait. He's one of my heroes. Would love to do something.
King George.
Who wouldn't want to do something with Strait?
Yeah, I mean that's the ultimate. That's about the highest of the high.
Yeah, no, I definitely like to do a duet one day with Leanne Womack. That would be an all-time dream for me. But George Strait, Leanne Womack, that's a top for me. So
see, there you go. It fits right into that category of the, like I said, neo-traditional. Like I said, doesn't get more neo-traditional than those two right there too. Well, I tell you, the single about as good as it gets out there across all the platforms, Saving the Planet. And he holds that beer can out there one beer at a time. Make sure you go check that out. And of course, October 15th, a new single comes out across the digital platforms. And definitely check out buckford.com out there for the latest tour dates and where he's going. And of course, some merch out there too. Buck, we appreciate the time here on the Backstage Pass, my friend. Definitely keep us posted on all the new stuff that comes out, the albums and singles. And I hope you had a great time. We'd love to have you back, my friend.
Great. I appreciate a great time, guys. Brandon, Nick, thanks for having me, and love to do something.
We appreciate you.
You got it. Buck Ford out there tomorrow. Justin Biltonen coming on here on the broadcast. And, of course, Thursday morning, Charlene Tilton from the program Dallas. We'll talk a lot about a big event coming up next week from Music City there and a whole lot more here on the Backstage Pass. Thanks to Bangtail Whiskey. Have a great night, and we'll see you guys very soon.